All right, so what if we have a whole bunch of variables? Like I have my right triangle here. I have a leg that has x. I'm going to label it A, side A. And then I have a leg that is a square root of 2, so that's B. And then my hypotenuse is C. So don't get overwhelmed by this. First, plug it into the theorem. Plug it into Pythagorean theorem. See what you can make of it. Just make sure when you are squaring that you're doing it correctly. So let's lay this all out. We've got x squared plus, I'm going to use parentheses since I've got like numbers and symbols and some other stuff going on. So please be very careful here. And then I have equals c squared, which is x plus 1 squared. Now, I have at my c squared x plus 1 squared. That does not mean I distribute the square in. That means you either need to FOIL or box method. Please do not forget that. Do not just distribute the square in. That's not how that works. So we're going to go through. I've got x squared plus, when you square a square root, it cancels each other out. Squaring the square root cancels out the square root. So I'm just left with 2. You don't square the 2. It's just 2 equals, and then I'm going to FOIL this out, and I get x squared plus 2x plus 1. If you need a reminder on how to do that, there are some previous videos on that in previous lessons, or just, Google a YouTube video. There's plenty out there that talk about FOIL and box method. And then we go through and we're going to shift it so that we have x on one side and numbers on the other. I'm going to subtract this x squared, subtract x squared, subtract 1, subtract 1. And we end up with 1 equals 2x. And when I divide this out, I get x equals 1/2. X equals 1/2. Now, you can always double check yourself if you're like, I don't know, that looks kind of funky. So we can easily double check that by plugging it back into each side and doing Pythagorean theorem again. So I can say 1/2 squared plus square root of 2 squared equals 1/2 plus 1 squared. This gives me 1/4 plus 2. 1/2 plus 1 is 3/2. And I still need to square that. I can combine the left-hand side as well, and so that gives me 9/4. And when I square the other side, 9/4. So it works. Yay! So even if it comes out to kind of a weird looking number like a fraction, it's okay. It's probably just fine, but you can plug it back in and double check yourself. Let's look at one more example with variables in it, and then we'll go to some other ideas. So again, I've got my hypotenuse, which is C. Excuse me. And then I've got A and B. And again, A and B are interchangeable. It does not matter which leg is A and which leg is B, as long as they are both legs. So we're going to plug this into Pythagorean theorem. I've got 8 squared plus x minus 4 squared. Remember, you're going to have to FOIL or box that out, equals x squared. So 64 plus x squared minus 8x plus 16 equals x squared. And then again, we're going to shift things over. I'm going to combine like terms. 16 plus 64 is 80 equals 8x. So x has to be equal to 10. And again, if you want to plug that back in and double check, you're more than welcome to. If you do, you get side links of 8, 6, and 10, which is 3, 4, and 5 times 2, which is a Pythagorean triple. So you're all set.